Okay, let's get into what the Yankees are actually going to do this offseason. My predictions. I've already talked about what I think they should do, and as well as my dream season if I had it my way. Those videos are in the description down below. And if you, by the way, if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. If you like great baseball content, you want to see a whole bunch more like this, hit the subscribe button right now, and the notification afterwards so that you know exactly when the new videos come out. So I want to get this in before the storm starts coming right now. I talked about this stuff again. Make sure you watch those videos, and then this you can contrast the differences between the two and see, how similar and how different they are, because they are different. And honestly, we don't know what the Yankees are going to do this offseason. They're so tight-lipped, Hal and Brian Cashman, you never really know. When you think they're going to do nothing, they do a lot. When they think we need to do a lot, they do nothing. So, and this is the kind of offseason that they're at right now, where they need to do significant things, or several incremental moves, and I don't really know. I don't have, we don't know where they stand, and that's one of the problems with Hal and Cashman. But that said, I'll get into the predictions either way. And my first prediction is I think Cashman and Boone are both going to stay. I know they've already gotten rid of Boone's 3 coaches, hitting coach, assistant hitting coach, and third base coach. So I think they got to, they'll be bringing in some more coaches. They've already alluded to the fact that they need to bring in some coaches who are going to not be afraid to push the players and hold them accountable, which I think is a good thing. Be a little bit more aggressive than Boone. So Boone has a little bit more of like a Zen-like type thing, and he doesn't seem to be comfortable with holding these guys accountable. And this is the major leagues; they need to be held accountable, particularly guys that have lazy spells and just look unfocused, like Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres. Happens far too often, and hustling issues and stuff like that. We need guys of the Buck Showalter and Larry Boa mindset to help push these guys and light a fire under some asses when it needs to be lit. So that's my first prediction. It's not what I would do. I've already said what I would do in the other videos, but my prediction is they're going to wind up keeping both of them. So that's one. The second prediction, I think they're going to keep Gleyber Torres at second base. Okay, give him another year to try to reestablish. Unless they move him in a trade for somebody like Matt Olson or something, I think they're going to wind up keeping him. I think they're going to move DJ to first base, okay, which means I don't think they're going to sign Anthony Rizzo back, and I think they're going to move on from Luke Voit. And with DJ becoming less athletic and coming off hernia surgery, first base is a more logical area for him. That also means, what? Gio's going to stay at third base in my prediction as well, which leaves shortstop open. Shortstop I'm going to get to in a minute, but that's where the maneuverability is going to be in my prediction. DJ's got 5 years left on his contract, and first base at this point seems like a more logical spot for him, even though I would love for them to get Matt Olson. And the best case scenario, I would. And then you can just move DJ to the super utility guy like Ben Zobrist, but we'll see what happens there. But my prediction is he's going to go to first base. That's why I don't think the Yankees are going to do much with position players. So after that, I think they will move on from Brett Gardner and say thank you so much for a great career. And I also think they're going to find a taker for Aaron Hicks in a trade, which opens up spots for Greg Allen and Estevan Florial and Tim LeCastro and guys like that. I do think they will bring in somebody of the Cameron Maybin type. I was hoping Michael Taylor, but he re-signed with the Royals, got an extension with them. So, and if for some reason they happen to move Joey Gallo, then I can see them bringing in somebody like Starling Marte for center field. But I don't see that happening, unfortunately. I just don't. But I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But so I think they move on from Gardner and Hicks, which creates some payroll flexibility and roster spots. So that's my one of my bold declarations. First base, I've already said. I think DJ's going to be the first. I think they move on from Rizzo. So I originally thought C.J. Cron was an option, but the Rockies just re-upped him for a 2-year extension through 2023. So that's no longer an option as well. And this again, moving DJ to first saves money for them to invest in other areas. And I don't think they're going to bring in somebody of a Carlos Correa, who I think is probably going to hit close to $300 million. I think he's going to wind up somewhere else. So that's where I stand on kind of the infield positions. I also think from starting pitching, I think they're going to sign either Robbie Ray or Carlos Rodon. That's going to be probably their biggest expenditure this offseason. I also think they're going to require another pitcher in a trade. A mid-level pitcher, somebody of a T.J. Brubaker from the Pirates, who could be like a number 4, number 5. Particularly with Kluber not coming back, I don't think, and Tyon only having one more year until he walks in free agency. So I think somebody with controllable years like a Brubaker will probably be a compliment here. So again, one signed frontline starting pitcher a trade of a mid-level starting pitcher, which kind of can help move Nestor Cortes to either spot starter or long relief guy in the bullpen where he's probably better suited. And you add Domingo Germán to that, gives him more depth in the bullpen. I also think they're going to probably wind up trying Luis Severino in the rotation. Personally, I think he's a better fit in the bullpen at this point with the injury issues, but I think they're going to wind up pushing him into the rotation behind Cole and, let's say, Rodon. That's what I think in a rotation. I do think they're going to make a bold free agent, a bullpen move. I think they're going to find a taker for Aroldis Chapman in a trade, and I'll get to that when I have trade proposals for Chapman and a bunch of other players. I got a bunch of those videos coming. And I think they're going to sign Kendall Graveman for the bullpen to probably a 3-year deal. It'll be one of the more significant bullpen signings this offseason. I think he'll be bring an elite arm to replace Aroldis Chapman, and then you pair him with Ridings and Holmes and a bunch of these other guys. Johnny Lasagna, and I think Chad Green will probably be moved in a trade. Graveman, to me, will be the other big signing for them this offseason. So they're being one significant starter, one significant reliever, and obviously keep developing those other young relievers that they have. And then lastly, I think they're going to sign a stopgap shortstop like Andrelton Simmons, or make a trade for Didi Gregorius, for who's got 1 year left, with the expectation that either Anthony Volpe is going to take over at second, or at shortstop, or Oswald Peraza will take over at shortstop. So, and if they happen to move on from Torres for some way in a trade for a significant pitcher, or a Matt Olson of some kind, or whatever, or Matt Chapman or whatever, then now they have the flexibility to utilize Volpe and Peraza. But I could see Peraza being moved in a potential blockbuster trade at some point. But I see a stopgap option for them at shortstop. So, but what I will say is, in any one of these trades that they make this offseason, I do see them bringing in a high-end catching prospect of some sort in return, which to me has to be. They have to bring in some sort of high-end catching prospect, because they're going to be in a Gary Sanchez conundrum this next offseason. Unless they move him this offseason, they're going to figure out, what are we going to do with Sanchez? We're going to lock him up long-term? And to me, I wouldn't do it at a big money deal. It's just too inconsistent, and it's just not getting any better. Or, which leaves them with Kyle Higashioka. So I think a young catching prospect, and the guys that they have in the farm do not really represent long-term, at least to me, long-term fits for the catching position to replace Gary Sanchez. So I have a couple of big trade proposals coming up in my next batch of videos that you'll see. Each one of them has a significant trade prospect, because I could see them making some off the radar trades this offseason, which I hope they consider doing, which can make the team better in the long run. But we'll see how aggressive. I think that the trade market for the Yankees will probably be more aggressive than the free agent market. I think they should be aggressive in both areas, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, but we'll see. But those are my predictions. It's not super sexy. It's incremental. But if you look at my dream offseason, that's where I would much prefer they be. But this is, again, the Yankees. This is Cashman. This is Hal Steinbrenner. And until they say we're going to be aggressive and sign and just blow past the freaking threshold and start competing with the big spenders like the Dodgers, then I don't see it happening. But that's my prediction. So you let me know what you think. Give me your feedback in the comments. Let me know what your predictions are, what your dream offseason would be, and then we're gonna have another live stream about this as well and talk about our predictions and whatnot. But I'll have my MLB free agent predictions coming, and I have a whole bunch of other videos. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it yet, and hit the notification so you don't miss them. So have a great week, everybody. Talk to you next time. Go Yankees.